Today I want to talk to you about trust batteries and how you should use them in every relationship you form for both business and personal. Now it's a Sunday morning, and it's Sundays I always talk about personal development, personal education, personal life, that side of things. And today's topic is all about relationships, so it's not just business related. It should be for any relationship in your personal or business life. And interestingly, it's Sunday, so it's actually a really nice morning to run. It's about 13 degrees, but it's quite sunny. It feels a little bit muggy and humid, but I woke up to it. I'm so groggy. It's one of those mornings where it's a real battle to get myself out. So I'm going to do just over 10k today. But yeah, it's been a battle. I have to confess, if it wasn't for this vlog and the recording and the accountability it's holding me to, I would have definitely knocked this one on the head today. So thank you for that. So on to the topic then, trust battery. Now this is a term or a concept I took from an amazing book called It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work. I talk about this book quite a lot because it's so contrarian, I should say, as in all the books on productivity and how you can get more done and all this type of stuff. They all kind of follow a similar principle. I've read loads of them, but this one just kind of turns it 180 degrees and focuses on other things that are more important, like not having stress, having the kind of more lifestyle based, that you can still get those amazing results, and you can still maintain those really high productivity levels without it creating this massive manic frenzy in your workplace or your work-life balance. And it is focusing on getting that nailed. But one of the concepts here, this isn't necessarily focused on productivity, but it's something that I thought was a really nice analogy and something that you can do to analyse all your relationships, personal and present, but not just the relationship from your side, because you could have whatever relationship, and you're talking about trust and the foundations of that relationship. One person will have one opinion, the other person in that relationship will have another. So the important point here is that try and also reverse engineer this to what that other person is potentially thinking about you in terms of the trust battery. So the first thing to do is to explain what the trust battery is. And what it is basically, think of your battery on a smartphone, but what is that little icon where it shows you the battery with it's like a fuel gauge, isn't it? You can see it normally has a percentage figure next to it, and it goes green when it's full, kind of amber when it's below 50%, red when it's kind of below 20%, that type of thing. And I think that's really important. Everybody's trust battery by default will start 50%. So it's kind of on the peripheral of crossing into the amber platform, but it still starts on green. And that's important because too many people, me in particular, I've had so many relationships go wrong. I've had so many personal and business orientated, and some of them have been completely my fault, some of them have been completely the other party's fault. To the extent where I've been shafted, lost lots of money, all that type of stuff. So it then makes you automatically more cautious and more skeptical about trusting people. And you can then start your trust battery at less than 50%, which isn't a good way to be. You need to try and reset and think that, everybody's individual, everybody's trust battery is individual. So really try and master this analogy that you meet someone new, it's 50%. It's not 25%, which I'm probably more like at this moment in time, because one of my first business partnership failures, it's not the one I recently discussed in systems outsourcing, but this is the one in my property business. This one nearly wiped me out, and it was horrendous. So that's what's kind of been the driver behind why my trust battery is so much lower. But I'm working really hard to get this back because I see the value in it. And I talked about positive mindset and positivity and happiness and how much of a positive impact that can have on your life, personal, business, and from the productivity standpoint. So I'm really working on getting this up, but it's hard when you're taking a knock. So I'm not gonna lie. But the idea is that you rate every single relationship in your life in the trust battery. And what we're talking about is just trust, integrity, you know, but not, well, trust can be covered in many different formats. I mean, I'm just checking something. I'm going the right way. I think I'm going the right way. Yeah, in fact, I'm sure I'm going the right way. Yes, and trust battery can be used in several different formats. So trust can be trust for so many different things. So trust can be just integrity, in honesty, in the fact that are they telling the truth, or it can be trust to get something done, or it can be trust to stick to tight deadlines, trust to do something within a time scale. It can be a trust for anything. So you have to try and be quite specific about how you're using the trust battery for each relationship. But I mainly use it for new relationships based on integrity, and for kind of internal ones based on trust to get the job done, or trust to get what that relationship's about completed. So in the working life, people that work for me, it's their ability to get things done when they say they're going to get done. I don't hold it against them, because if they communicate effectively, then obviously stuff happens. But you get a trust battery, and you will find people in your team, from a business perspective, that are like 90% plus. It's very rare to get 100%. I think that's almost impossible in my world. Some people might say otherwise. But you get people in the high 90s. Like, what you want is that. I think I've talked about the PVA role in your business, personal virtual assistant, being the first person you recruit. And if you can get one who's really good, and talk about recruitment, how you recruit these people in other episodes. But if you can get one who's really good, and you get high in the 90s trust battery, so you just trust them to get stuff done. The amount of overwhelm and stress and relief that alleviates from you is unquantifiable, and it's something that everybody should be striving for, to have people that are doing that in their business. And that's how you kind of move away from the stressful side of running a business or multiple businesses. But like I say, it's also applicable for personal friends. You see so many people have got their own agenda in life, and there's situations where I know people who are really nice to my face, and I know full and well from the grapevine that the stuff they say behind the scenes is very different. So clearly my trust battery for them is a lot lower. And then you start looking at all these people in your life. I mean, you've only got so much time. You want to be spending people with the best values, the people that meet your, that meet with your values, the people that are going to drive you to the next level, positive people, not negative people. And I talk about this about, some people talk about your network is your net worth and all this stuff, and the 5 people you spend the most time with, most influential in your life. That's absolutely true. But use the trust battery as a way to rank those people. And if someone's scoring too lowly, ask yourself the question: is it someone that you can recharge the trust battery? So is it someone you can work with, do some one-to-one work, try and rebuild that trust? So whether that's on a social basis or business related basis, it's the same principles apply. Is it worth trying to recharge? Is it worth, or is it just so low now that it's beyond repair? And I think going back to business partnership failure in systems outsourcing, I think trust battery had just reduced beyond a recoverable level in the leadership team. It wasn't anything to do with integrity, it was at all, and it was definitely both ways, in that I probably wasn't getting stuff done that was expecting of me. Well, I definitely wasn't. But then I found that the clarity and direction of Secure, which was having an impact on me doing that. So, but it's absolutely, I take 100% of half of the blame for any failure, and I look at myself, and in fact I take more of the blame. What could I have done differently? What could I've changed? What could I have seen earlier? Blame yourself first mentality. What could I have done differently to try and salvage that? And I have to look back and be critical of myself, but I learn from it. You see, so the things I did wrong, I won't be doing wrong in my new ventures. I'll make other mistakes, 100%, but let's hope they're not as disastrous as having a business partnership failure. Because you don't want too many of these in your life, because they take their tolls for sure. So anyway, I digress. So back to the trust battery. You want to look at all the relationships with the people closest to you. So people in your personal life, and also people in your professional or business life, and try and rank the trust battery and think about how. But the key one is not just how you think about it. Think about it from their side. What is the trust battery like for them? And I'm not ashamed to admit this. I've got some joint venture partners I've had for a long time that haven't been getting what we agreed when we first set out. Now, there's been loads of different issues and environmental impacts that have affected the ability, but that's still my inability to deliver what the original JV was. Now, I'm still working with these people and trying to make sure this is all completely right. And I'll talk to you about some of this in a bit more detail in future episodes. But the key is that I don't ever question their integrity. They've stuck by me. So my trust battery for them is way higher than their trust battery will be for me, because I'm not delivering on what I'm supposed to be doing at the moment. Just going past some people at the moment. So, morning. So it's it's very a couple of weird looks there, but should be used to it by now. But so it's basically, that's really, really important. Empathy, putting yourself in the position of the other person, how they perceive you. And again, you probably have two lists, and you want to look at the people where your list one is your trust battery. Personal, 5 people in personal, 5 people in business that you spend your most time with. And if there's somebody there who the trust battery is so low, ask yourself the difficult question: is that somebody who you want to keep in your life, or is that person taking on valuable capacity for somebody else who's going to have a much higher trust battery? Because that's going to have a direct impact on the other people in your teams, or the other people you mix with. It's going to have an impact on you, and the compounding effect of that in the long term could be huge. So there are some difficult decisions you might have to make. List number 2 is the people who rank you with the lowest level of trust. Now, if any of those people are in your list number 1, then you've got some serious work to do if you want to continue working with them, because the trust they have in you is diminished, and that's where you want to focus on rebuilding that. But what I would also say is, regardless of doing this one, you should always want your trust level to be at least 50% with everyone. And that's what your challenge is. And that's certainly what my challenge is. And I'm absolutely, definitely not there, but I'll be working my hardest to be there. And like I say, my mantra: never shafted anyone in my life, I never will do. I always pay what I agree to pay, and I will never not do that, but I won't pay what I don't know. That's the other thing. So many people will play tricks in business and that to try and extract money from you that's not owed. That's why having a good legal team around you is really important. Do things the right way, the fair way. That's really, really important. And trust battery will help you along this way. So to summarise, the trust battery, treat it like your smartphone battery. The percentages: green being 50% above, amber being kind of 20% to 50%, red being in the sub 20%, below 20%. And use the trust battery for all your relationships, personal and business. And you should always start at 50%. Even if you're a negative person, try not to start that trust battery below, because it will have a detrimental effect on your life moving forward, in how you form relationships, and certainly in your business. If you go in negatively, you'll never see the opportunities to present themselves. So try and always start at 50%, and then monitor this, maybe quarterly, and have a list for the 5 people you spend the most time in your personal life and your business life, and rank the trust battery from your side. Okay, if any of it's below 50%, then ask yourself the difficult question: is it recoverable? Should we recharge that battery? Recharge it, spend more time with that person, feedback loop, work on the issues of why that trust battery is low, and rebuild it if that's what you choose. Or if it's too low and it's unrecoverable, irrecoverable, then question whether that person is filling up valuable capacity for somebody else in your world. Really ruthless. Sometimes difficult decisions need to be made. And then the final step is create a list of people and how they rank you from a trust battery. Now, this is obviously going to be an estimate, But what you want to do there is anybody who you think you're ranking below 50%, you want to try and get them all up to 50%. Now, there's always going to be doubters and trolls, and there is a caveat to that. If they're not that important in your life, I wouldn't recommend wasting too much time on it if it's not something that's a relatively easy fix. But if they're on list one, or there's somebody that is important in your life, you need to focus on that and really rebuild that trust. Because A, it makes you a better person, and B, it means it's a good barometer of your level of success because you're delivering what you say you're going to deliver. So I hope that's really useful. It's something that I'm adopting in my life. It's something I do on a more detailed focus. I do this in Asana as well. I will create a Asana template for everybody as well to use as well moving forward. That I hope you find useful. So as always, like, share, comment. Any questions, please put them in the comments. I will always respond to every question. If something that's a bigger answer, I'll do a separate episode and tag you in. It will normally take me possibly a few weeks to get around to it with all the content stuff I've got lined up, but I will guarantee to come back to everybody who asks a question that justifies a larger response. So I hope that's useful. And as always, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you on the next episode.